For this discussion, we are joined by Khalid bin Hadi, the Managing Director for the Subregion UAE at Siemens Energy, Ibrahim Al-Zu'bi, Group Chief Sustainability and ESG Officer at ADNOC Group, Najeeba Hassan Al-Jabri, Chief ESG and Sustainability Officer at Emirates Global Aluminium, Dr. Yousif Al-Hammadi, Chief Asset Management Officer at Tabreed, and of course your moderator Razan Salman, Senior Economy and Government Reporter at CNN Business Arabia. Please put your hands together in welcoming them to the stage.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this panel that will explore how leaders are reimagining the future of energy consumption, distribution, and production, driving more effective decarbonized systems through innovation and collaboration. And it's my ultimate pleasure to be speaking to our esteemed panelists today. And I will start with Khalid. Khalid, Siemens is at the forefront of pioneering innovations that are decarbonized. In your opinion, which have proven to have potential?
First of all, thank you. Can you hear me? Hello. I don't think...
Microphone test.
Can you hear me? It's on now? Yeah. First of all, thank you very much for the opportunities and to be part of this important discussions with Forbes on Sustainability Leaders Summit. Allow me just to start by Siemens Energy. You cannot?
Mike? I think I'm okay.
I don't think it.
Can you try now?
No.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's working. So at Siemens Energy, sustainability is not just a side of our strategy. It's actually part of our DNA, and it is the center of our strategy. More than 1/3 of the world electricity already flows through our technology. And our mission is clear: to energize society without compromising on the planet. The UAE has become a global leader in the energy transition, guided and setting the scene and objectives of the net zero target by 2050. And if you look also at the COP28 UAE consensus, which called to triple renewable capacity and doubling energy efficiency by 2030. And those elements are very important to understand where the transformation is heading and what sort of technology is required to address those needs. In Siemens Energy, our goal is how we turn this vision into action through three things. Now we're going to touch on the innovation part: AI-driven innovation, resilience, infrastructure, and strong partnerships. If you look at the artificial intelligence and digitalizations, and especially now these days where everyone is talking about AI and the impact, we see today AI is becoming the engine of the energy transformation, enabling productive maintenance, grid optimizations, and emission reductions. Allow me to share one concrete example which we have recently announced with DEWA, the plant intelligent control, which is installed in one of our power plants. This technology or solutions is going to save higher than 2.2% in terms of efficiency, and saving on fuel and cutting 35,000 tons of CO2 emissions per power block. Imagine if we duplicate this across their power plant. You can time it by 10. Another thing, I was reading an article and with something caught my attention from PCG in 2024 have said AI could help reduce 5 to 10% of global greenhouse gas emissions by 2030 through industrial and energy optimization. And you can imagine the AI consumptions or demand of energy is going to increase significantly. And this will require a huge amount of power and power infrastructure to meet that demand. So today we see AI and energy transformation working hand in hand. Also, two areas that I want to touch briefly, it's flexible, hybrid, and grid technologies. Today, with what we are seeing and witnessing of the increase of the renewable, and especially the UAE and Saudi Arabia are taking lead by doubling the renewable capacities, this will require innovation, technology to integrate it into the grid. So again, we need to work hand in hand with governments, policy, and private sectors to achieve the ambitious goals that's set by governments. The third element, which is the hydrogen, where everyone is talking about it, and this is a critical topic where it will help, and it is the cornerstone of the decarbonizations. What we are doing at Siemens Energy, I mean, we are setting the path towards decarbonization by establishing one of its world electrolyzer factory. Today, our ambition is to grow from 1 gigawatt production to 3 gigawatt, which is a world record, to be honest. And if you look at Masdar as an example, Masdar is planning to produce 1 million tons of green hydrogen annually by 2030. Again, if you look at the global market of the green hydrogen, it could reach potentially to $500 billion, which again creating 2 million new jobs according to ARENA.
Thank you. So you highlighted collaboration, which is obviously a very important aspect of energy transition. Dr. Zu'bi, ADNOC emphasizes sustainability with a very big S, while balancing between economic income, economic returns, and energy supply. How do you think balance is done in this industry?
Shukran, Razan. Thank you. First of all, let me recognize the audience who stayed with us for this panel. Thank you so much for being here. Also, thanks to Khalid and the Forbes team for creating this annual platform for us to discuss also. And I'm very humbled to be with this great panel. Razan, the world is going through a major shift, and this shift is shaped by three powerful forces. One, emerging markets are now responsible for half of the global prosperity. The second, energy systems as we know it are being fundamentally transformed. Third, the exponential rise of AI. So this puts, I think, puts our work in sustainability and overdrive. Business as usual won't exist anymore. And at the same time, almost 1 billion people, they lack access to energy and electricity. So for us, when we say sustainability with a big S, we mean that we provide energy and electricity and having in a human-centered strategy to ensure that we provide this energy to all the customers, all the people, the economic development. We call it a triple bottom line approach. We think of the planet, profit, and people. And I think we've heard a lot about emissions reduction. And I can assure you that not only ADNOC, the whole UAE it's on track to achieve its climate goals. We have a leadership target by 2050. We decided to even to do it earlier in ADNOC in 2045. We're on track. We even went one step extra, which is we looked at the other harmful gases like methane, having the near zero methane by 2030, which is 70 times worse than CO2 in a shorter time period. So this is being taken care of because environment and climate action is embedded within our culture. But when we say sustainability with a big S, it's reintroducing the narrative of sustainability. Sustainability is about people, about economy, and about taking care of the environment. So we're in the job of, we're a progressive international energy provider. So we're on that job. We will make sure that our customers, they have access to energy, to a low carbon energy. And while doing this, we ensure the economic prosperity for the country and for the region. I'll give you maybe an example when how can I link climate and energy providing. Now, we look at the oil and gas, and we know that there is a high demand and the rise demand of energy now. In ADNOC, we invested in technology and AI to ensure that our barrel of oil equivalent is one of the lowest globally, 7 kilograms per barrel of oil equivalent, while doing the same on the same price, not even charging a premium price for it. So that goes by default. That's when I say it's embedded in the culture. But also to ensure that we future-proof the company and the country, we should invest in a diversified energy basket. We look at the and. We look at the oil and gas and renewables and nuclear, all of the above, because with the rise of AI, there is a high demand on energy. We talk about data centers, and I'm sure you know now, most of us use ChatGPT. You're aware that every time you ask a ChatGPT, it consumes energy maybe 10 times more than a Google search. Well, that needs access to energy, electricity, and this is where we come. We ensure that while there is an economic prosperity, we do it with the most sustainable way, taking into consideration human-centric, economic-centric, and of course, by default, planet-centric.
You mentioned something very important, human-centered, which is obviously part of the UAE vision, Najeeba. Aluminium is a cornerstone material in new technologies. How is EGA making aluminium truly green?
Thank you very much, Razan, for having me, first of all, in this panel with the distinguished panelists. Indeed, aluminium really essential metal. We can see the demand is really growing because this kind of property of this metal, it can help other industries to decarbonize. We can see today the aluminium part of the wind turbine. We can see the aluminium part of the solar panels. And even with regarding to the construction, there is a lot of advice today to increase the aluminium content in our building because of the property of this aluminium. And this is one of the reasons why we can see the aluminium demand will increase by almost 80% by 2050. And in EGA, we have a very stringent growth plan, but also we consider ourselves a sustainability leader. So we need to think how we decarbonize as we are growing in the aluminium growth production. So one of our strategy, definitely we are being plus, being in this country at the central, we are connected to the grid. And as the grid decarbonize, we are having access to the clean or green energy as well. And for that, I can give you an examples where we have been producing aluminium, a sustainable aluminium or low carbon aluminium, which called Celestial, based in the solar. We also partner with a lot of colleagues in terms of recycler, and our Celestial today part with the Celestial R, and we call it Celestial produced from the solar, but also having a lot of recycled content, which is really low carbon aluminium today. We have in discussion with our colleagues in the nuclear side, where they are producing also clean energy, and we are connecting with them with ADNOC, where we will be producing minimal, based in nuclear power, which is also low carbon metal. We've been also in this era of R&D, and EGA, we've been blessed more than 40 years. We are doing a development for our technology, and we are one of the few smelter today are producing aluminium from technology which is made in UAE. And our technology is having 41% less carbon comparing to our competitor from Japan or from China or across the globe. So our metal in UAE are much less in terms of GHG emissions, and I like really the interaction with the people hearing 41% less carbon. Also, in terms of our connection and looking into this continuous improvement in our technology, we have been launched recent technology which is called Emax. It has higher productivity, but also 12% less emissions comparing to all what we have developed in all these years. So we have really strong roadmap toward the decarbonization while we are growing our production. And by that, we are committed to 25% by 2030 of GHG emissions, and again, 35% by 2040.
This is also, besides mentioning that EGA contributes big time to the UAE GDP. Yousif, so how can new innovations... So, Yousif, how are innovations in asset management and cooling actually contributing to the UAE's wider sustainability vision.
So first of all, thank you for having me, and thank you all for attending the session. So at Tabreed, we consider innovation a cornerstone, and one of the key pillars of Tabreed basically is to deliver reliable, sustainable, and cost-effective cooling infrastructure. Having said that, it comes with huge responsibility. We are literally the market leader. And when you think about district cooling and you think that this is something maybe small, not important, but guess what? The UAE's vision of reaching or the goal of 2050 carbon neutrality will not be achieved without having an efficient cooling scheme. 70% of the energy used during summer peak time is going for cooling. So imagine if you don't have a smart, efficient cooling scheme implemented in this country. And by the way, cooling, it is as important as power and water. It is an essential, it is not luxury. So we take this very seriously. We have partnered with the latest maybe leaders in the field of technology and implementing the best AI. Some of our plants are unmanned. Recently, we have partnered with Maxwell. We are using nanoparticles in our chillers that is used to transfer the heat and lubrications in the chiller that will eventually result in a better performance. And we are using this technology across our plants. The same when it comes to partnership, we are partnered with one of the energy leaders in the country, that is ADNOC, in our project G2Cool in Masdar City. We are very proud of this project. It is the first of its kind in the region. You are using geothermal, you are using hot water, and it is limitless source of energy that is transferred to cooling. 10% of Masdar City at the moment is cooled using G2Cool plant. And now we are trying also to implement the same in Al-Ain, Al-Fu'a, and trying to spread out this. Being the market leader means that we have to lead by example. We have to innovate. We have to push the borders. And we try to also expand our businesses. Recently and yesterday, I believe, we have announced the biggest transaction in Tabreed's history, the acquisition of PAL District Cooling, more than $1 billion paid to acquire these plants. And why is that? Because one, it is growth, definitely. Growth is needed in any business, but at the same time, to reach into synergies among the plants. When you have two plants located in the same area, you can do synergies among the networks, and you have them both connected together. And in maybe winter time, off-peak time, you can switch down one plant and you run one plant, and this will be more efficient when it comes to energy consumption. And we are also very proud of our recent partnership with Dubai Holding, Palm Jebel Ali as well. So the same, we are trying to grow, but at the same time using the best innovation and technology that we have across the UAE.
All you esteemed panelists mentioned the importance of leadership, collaboration, and innovation. But to end the session with a look-ahead question, how do you believe the UAE energy ecosystem can become more resilient to future shocks while achieving net zero ambitions? Who would like to start? Khalid.
So partnership is key, and I want to touch on three elements: partnership, ecosystem, and talents developments. And today, if you look at technology alone itself, won't be able to deliver on the net zero and the ambitious targets set by all the governments. It is the ecosystem we built, where governments, vision, industrial capabilities, and human capital work together hand in hand. So if you look at the partnership between private and public sector, this is very important. Without having that true partnership where commitments are set, nothing will progress. And today, UAE has set the example where we have built the most advanced energy collaboration models globally. And we, as a company, Siemens Energy, very much proud to support the entire energy value chain, where we are also supporting the decarbonization journey, not only by deploying advanced technology locally here. In the past, everything was run remotely, but that's not the case. If you're not close to your customers and to the industry, you will not be able to progress, neither to take one step forward. And if you look on that, the UAE has committed by numbers, not only by words or by PR, no, actually by numbers. If you look at the UAE has invested over $163 billion in clean energy projection and project to date, including Baraka, Mohammed bin Rashid Solar Park, Taqa, and so on. And if you look at ADNOC as an example, they have committed $150 billion to support the clean transformations. So again, what I want to say and emphasize here, all these commitments, through the partnership, you can see tangible results. On top of that, the second layer, which is very important, is the innovation, research and development, which is the key and fundamental to sustain that growth, okay? And to be also realistic with you, we as a company have established our 4th Global Innovation Center here in Abu Dhabi, in the heart of Khalifa University. And why at the university? Because we believe innovation should work closely with university and academia. Innovation is about solving a problem that we're going to see in the future. So we must come together with academia, with the government, with policies, to look at things which we are not seeing today, but we will see in the future. And that's how the innovation should develop. And trust me, if we did not believe the market of the UAE, we will not establish our 4th global footprint in the country. We see that UAE is becoming a leader in the energy transformation, in innovation, in talent development, and most importantly, today our innovation is not catering for the UAE, actually for the globe. Today, UAE is becoming a global player. If you look at most of the government entities, whether it's Masdar, Taqa, XRG, and so on, they are global players. And that's where we want to be. We are working hand in hand, not to address only the challenges we see in the country, but also globally. And on top of that, what's really important is about how are we preparing future leaders. We are using this Innovation Center as a platform for training and development and preparing future generation to come. 50% of the technologies that will require to meet the decarbonizations is not yet ready. But who's going to take it forward? So that's why where we need to work hand in hand with all the governments, the universities, to support, to prepare the future, to address on those challenges. So the path to a sustainable future is clear. It sets with innovation, collaboration, and responsibilities. And we and Siemens Energy very much proud of our partnership. We will continue to support that journey, and hopefully through our partnership and joint investment, we will be able to address and to position the UAE as a leader in the energy transformation.
Dr. Zab.
Razan, I think, people talk about AI native companies and nations. I believe the United Arab Emirates is a resilience native nation. I'll give you not an example, a story that I always like to share. In the early 70s, the founding father of the nation, the late Sheikh Zayed, Allah yarhamu yaghfir lahu, he was outside in the desert, and he saw one of our oil rigs with a flare on it. And he said, that flare is not good for the environment. Fast forward, not even a couple of years later, in the 70s, we have a zero routine flaring policy in ADNOC, and we launched ADNOC gas. So we did not only help the environment, we had that futuristic part of how can I even make it good for the nation. So this is embedded. So resilience is embedded in the DNA of the country. You just listen to, and we consider Bufars and Siemens as a multinational regional based in the EU, but Siemens has been part of this as well. But you listen to national examples, how we can work together. Geothermal projects in the desert, not in Iceland and Finland, in the United Arab Emirates, cooling houses in the heart of Abu Dhabi. So I think now with the geopolitics, with the narrative, UAE is leading to reintroduce the narrative of sustainability and resilience, which is, one, look at the impact. It's impact-driven, value creation, and you've heard a lot of, you talked about the GDP with EGA, so we started to put numbers to our narrative. The second part is there is a gap that on the discussion. you've listened to all of us talking about net zero commitments while the world is backtracking of their net zero commitments.
Exactly.
We're not only saying we're committed, we're saying we're on track to achieve our commitment. We are even have the CapEx budget for that. We work together for innovation and research and development. And this is the DNA of resilience. We also, I look at the audience and I see familiar faces, for example, from startups, you know, startups that can produce solutions, not only for the UAE, and I see, Jihad, I like to recognize FortiGuard. They take UAE launched startups to go and speak at NASA. And so our resilience native strategy as a country and economy is becoming now a global standard. From a sustainability perspective, I believe that there is a great opportunity that we are utilizing as a nation. And in ADNOC, we recognize that. So when we say we are committed to provide our customers with the lowest carbon intensity barrel of oil equivalent with the same price, not even looking at the premium. This is investment in technology, in R&D, in talent, AI native, upskilling and reskilling the nation. When we talk about AI, we invested to upskill and reskill more than 40,000 employees of ADNOC to be on AI. So we start where other nations need. And I think we should pause a minute here and ensure that we understand the huge investment we did as a nation and as companies, be it in human capital, be it on technologies, AI, investments, startups, sustainability, energy basket. You look at the first and the safest nuclear reactant here that provides clean nuclear technology. We look at the biggest solar energy farms in the whole world. You look at geothermal. So green aluminium that you even provide for international customers. So I think we need to recognize ourselves as resilient, agile, native nation that we think 50 years ahead. The leaders put a strategy and we're part of that strategy. And I believe having the 3rd edition of Forbes Sustainability here now for the 3rd year, while IUCN Congress now is there. So we have 3 GITEX, they have a sustainability pillar. Forbes, they have a sustainability summit today, as well as IUCN Congress that for the last couple of days, which means Abu Dhabi and the UAE is becoming the beacon of platforms for global sustainability discussions. We have a full house. We had the minister here this morning, and we have a long day as well. So resilience, we are a resilience native nation, as well as we are AI. And you don't see this anywhere else, by the way. We're a unique example. And in our work, be it with Najeeba or other colleagues on sustainability, we heard from Abu Dhabi Airports, Tabreed. I think the technologies that we use, we don't think of Abu Dhabi or the United Arab Emirates only. We think, how can I upscale, commercialize, and make sure that's part of the GDP and economy.
Truly inspiring journey. Najeeba.
I think I will echo what I have heard from my colleagues here. We are really having very strong resilience system. And this is being notified not only within UAE, being notified by our customer. Yeah. So today we have a global customer coming to UAE, coming to us to partner in our technology and innovation solution and saying, here we have spent certain X time and effort, please take it forward, because they can see today UAE are executor. We walk the talk, yeah? So this is really very important, and we'll continue innovating for sustainable future for UAE.
Inshallah.
So in short, in my opinion, so Khalid touched base on partnership, innovation, Ibrahim touched base on the core foundation of the UAE, positioning, as well as AI. Najeeba, you've touched base on the collaboration between customers and lessons learned from where we stopped and where we will go. I believe it's all of the above. We are part of Abu Dhabi and Dubai's crisis management team, and we look into these lessons learned from every entity that is basically working in this energy sector. And we are trying to build plans and processes, but in my humble opinion, it's all about partnership. Partnership between regulations, decision makers, consultants, contractors, service providers, as well as energy leaders. That's
Yousif, Najeeba, Dr. Zabi, Khalid, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.